Got all my stuff here. I'm going to try to put a power inverter mounted in that toolbox there so I can run my power tools and stuff when I'm out building our cabin and stuff. So I'm going to run this from the battery up front to these two batteries here. I'm going to put up under the toolbox and run all my wiring so the alternator will keep these batteries charged. Mount the inverter inside the toolbox so it'll be out in the dry, and see if we can get it all set up. Extension cord, heavy duty. I'm going to run it from my battery up front to the back where I'm going to mount these deep cycle marine batteries to run my inverter that I'm mounting in the toolbox. If I can find the best way to get it back there. Let's see if I can feed it through. Try to get it somewhere it's not going to rub on anything or get cut up. There's a plug in my bed. I'm going to try to pull that out right there. Right here. See if I can get up to it to push it up through that without drilling holes. Got my toolbox slid back where I can see. Yeah. Probably could have slid in this if I can run the wire through it so it won't rub around that hole there. Got my rigid drill here and a 1/2 inch bit. I'm going to drill this grommet out so the drop cord will fit through the bottom of it there without rubbing on that metal and messing up the insulation. See if we can get it to work right anyway. Try to notch this out with a knife if it ain't too hard. I'll do it back here so it don't. I hate to scratch my truck up. Yeah, right. Let's see if this will cooperate. Come on, look at that. Looks like a factory. That was a 1/2 inch. That was a 1/2 inch bit. Fits perfect on the 12 gauge extension cord I got from Walmart. I'm gonna go up under the truck, zip tie up the cable in real good, make sure it's out of the way, and I'll come back and try to get started wiring it up. slack in it to allow movement. Seems like the insulation on this 12 gauge extension cord is pretty thick, so I think it'll be able to keep from wearing through to the actual wire. Wish it was another color besides bright yellow, but that's all they had, 12 gauge. A lot of people are probably going to say, well, why don't you just take a generator out there? Why don't you just run a generator when you're working on your cabin and building stuff where there's no power? Well, if you do it this way, it's a lot more quiet. You don't have to have a loud generator running. Basically, you got a huge fuel tank. You just let the truck idle to keep the batteries charged up, hopefully, because you're not going to be running the saw continuously to be draining the power down. So I'm hoping that with the truck idling, the alternator will put out enough power to keep the batteries topped off between times you're running the saw and stuff like that. And then it'll be a lot quieter. Alright, put the grommet back in and we'll wire it up. Be careful skinning the insulation off. Make sure you don't cut too big of holes in your wire. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is this is 3-wire for hot, ground, and neutral. I'm probably going to wire the white and green together and use them for the hot, and just use the one black for the ground. We'll give it a little more current to the 12 gauge wire if needed. Oh well, couldn't find my crimper, so got the next best thing. A 5/16 deep well. I'm gonna loosen them up. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my cabling in the bed before I actually attach the power cables to the battery. A lot less likely to catch on fire that way. A lot less sparks to give you a heart attack. Alright, we'll finish up the cabling in the back, then we'll hook her up and see what happens. Start 29 DC deep cycle power batteries, 845 marine cranking amps and 122 amp hours. These are 12 volt batteries here. I'm going to wire them in parallel, so should give me 244 amp hours at 12 volts. Should be sufficient if I leave the truck running. So when you wire them parallel, let's push these down. We'll probably leave them like that to be okay. You hook your positive to positive, negative to negative. That keeps you the same voltage, but doubles your amp hours. If you need to up your voltage, you wire them series from negative to positive, and that doubles your voltage and keeps your amp hours the same. In this configuration, we need a little more amp hours and the same voltage. So And we'll get all these tightened down. I'm going to bore you with that. And then I'll show you positive, negative to negative. I'm going to slide them over as far as I can over there. Probably going to build me a wooden box or something to hold them in there. Alright, and then we're going to take our positive, which we used our white and our green in this drop cord here as the positive, and the black as the negative. So we're going to take them, put connectors on them, hook them up to your positive and negative, and that'll give you voltage from your battery. Should get the right one. Your alternator, and from your main battery to keep these charged up. Better cut a little extra just in case. That should be good. Alright, so I'll get them stripped back, connectors on them, and get them hooked up, show you how it works. Positive, positive, negative to negative. On our negative, we just used the one black wire. On our positive, we hooked the green and the white together to give it a little more current. Put a 30 amp blade fuse in there just to be safe, to make sure that it's not pulling too much current from the main battery and alternator, so that it doesn't mess the alternator up or damage that battery. Alright, get the zip tie this all up nice and neat here. I'm going to get my multimeter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check the voltage on the back batteries, the voltage on the front battery, and I'll put my fuse in, crank the truck up, and what should happen is the battery voltage between this battery and the ones in the back should come close to equalizing out. That way we'll know all our wiring's right, and we'll start hooking up the inverter. Alright, showing 12.7. 12.7. These should equalize out. Alright, let's check the front battery. See what it's running at. Oh. It's about 12.4948. So what should happen is when I put the fuse in the fuse holder, if everything's right, this battery voltage should start pulling up to the battery voltage of the ones in the back. All batteries try to equalize their voltage out across all the cells in the batteries. Try to heat shrink everything up. You gotta worry about it in the future, maybe. Put the silicone around that little grommet going through the bed there, because it keeps popping out. Let's see. Alright, 30 amp. Alright, let's go see what these are doing. These may be, these aren't going to pull down in the back there. Let's see if this one may be climbing slowly, or if we can even tell. Yeah, see? Keep watching it, it'll probably go up to 12.63. Yep. Starting to pull up, so the battery voltage is starting to equalize, so we know all our wiring connections are right. Alright, so what I'll do now is crank the truck up. We'll check everything again, make sure the charging current from the alternator is getting to all the batteries. $14.53. It's charging. See if I can reach over in here from here. $14.1. That's smaller gauge wire back here, so it's not going to pull up nowhere near as fast as the main battery. But if we keep a check, it should slowly pull up to what the charging current is, charging voltage. Let's check this. 14.13 and 14.13. So, alright, looks like that's good. Alright, now we'll move on to setting up the inverters. Got a headlight on. Just gonna drill my holes. Got some bulkhead adapters. I'm gonna run through the bottom of the toolbox so they don't rub on the insulation on those wires there. Thing's still going. Brought a skill saw out here a minute ago, hooked it up, run good. We'll unhook everything. I'll do these the same way. Hook the green and white together and put the black just for, whoa, just for ground. And bit back here. Here's my little sidekick. I don't know if you can see or not. Be my helper for too long. Mounted up. Just went ahead and did it, and figure you wanted to see that anyway. I got my 30 amp fuse holder there. Let's turn this on. 14.2. It's good. Alright, got some USB sockets, 312 volts. What I'm probably going to do is get a couple outdoor outlets, mount them in the side of my toolbox here, run them into the plugs. That way I can just plug right in from the outside and make it a little bit easier. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. Any suggestions? Anybody think I did anything wrong? Always up for scrutiny. That's how you learn. Appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed our video, and please remember to like and subscribe.